Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Inspired by Jimmy. Oh, welcome to this wonderful Wednesday. So, you guys know, if you've been following me, you know I've got derailed earlier this year off of my positivity journey, but that's okay because I'm getting back on track, and I'm doing that by standing strong on my foundation. And if you guys have any idea of who I am, you know my foundation has always been inspirational speakers and podcasts and being able to listen to great people and just to inspire me throughout my day, throughout my week, throughout my life. And it has really, really encouraged me. And so me getting back to the basics, I decided to go back to YouTube to do my reaction of inspiration, motivational clips based off of where my mindset is right now. It's actually been inspiring me. Every day is not a great day, but most are just simply getting better. So on this particular week's clip, we are listening to Brene Brown. The name of this clip is again from YouTube, How Embracing Vulnerability Can Change Your Life. Let's get right into it. Now, it is a very long clip. It's a 26-minute clip from Evan Carmichael. Evan Carmichael and which I totally love him by the way, but Evan Carmichael and Brene Brown. So we're not going to play all of it, okay? Just no. There's so many different points in there, and there's a lot of nuggets in there. But for the purpose of this particular podcast and this clip, we're not going to play all of it. We're only going to play a couple of minutes. So let's get right into that. And what it looks like. Come on, Brene. I think it's best understood with a simple question of never enough. And you can fill in the blanks. Never good enough, safe enough, certain enough, perfect enough, relevant enough. And perhaps I think one of the most dangerous and insidious messages today is never extraordinary enough. Somehow, in the world we live in today, an ordinary life has become synonymous with a meaningless life. And it has huge, and I've watched it happen not only as a researcher, I'm a qualitative researcher, so I sit across from people and look in their eyes and I have a good sense of what's going on in their lives. But as a university professor who's been teaching for the last 17 years, it's been very clear to me that extraordinary means relevant. And the top one is the big one for all of us personally, never good enough, which is shame, which we all have on occasion, that sense that we're not smart enough, good enough, perfect enough, loved enough, promoted enough. We're not enough. So what we do in response to scarcity culture, I think all of us every day, is this. We wake up in the morning and we armor up. And we put it on and we say, I'm going to go out in the world. I'm basically just going to kick some ass. I'm not going to let anyone see who I am. And in doing so, I can protect myself against the things that hurt the most. Judgment, criticism, fear, blame, ridicule. I'm going to armor up and I'm going to be safe. And we rationalize and we convince ourselves that this armor is really smart. And we use a lot of different things to armor too. Perfectionism, intellectualizing. But if you get really, really clear about what we're doing every morning when we wake up and decide to armor, it's this simple. This is what we're protecting. We're protecting being hurt for a very simple reason that no one really wants to talk about, which is this. Love, belonging, irreducible needs of men, women, and children. In the absence of love and belonging, there is always suffering. And so what we believe is that we can protect our sense of being lovable and being acceptable and being worth connection with armor. Here's the very worst news from my research. The news that above all other I did not want to hear is simply this. And I don't even want to say it to you because I think it's mean to say it. But it's so true. And it's simply our capacity for wholeheartedness can never be greater than our willingness to be brokenhearted, which is a terrible thing, but a truthful thing. this one really got me to thinking. Um, I'm not really sure how I feel about this one. It is definitely intriguing, and I love Brene Brown, and I can definitely say that I agree with her in the regards that we often dismiss ordinary, right? Like I love, and it's actually I cannot think of the author or the quote. I'm sorry, the author that stated this quote, but she stated that God often gives us our gifts, and God makes the gifts so close to us, within us, but it's often the last place that we look. And what she meant by that is, you're so comfortable with your gifts because you just do them naturally, and so naturally that you really don't consider them to be gifts. And so, in the same spirit of that, in regards to overlooking our ordinariness, our gifts to us seem so ordinary. And so, when other people see us, which is why they always say the grass is greener on the other side, but I get that. I get that piece. But in regards to our capacity to love can only be as far as our capacity to be heartbroken. And I guess I can agree with that. Because in every situation, whether it's your boss or your loved one, your coworker or whatever, you have to be vulnerable, right? And so not necessarily being heartbroken, but your willingness to be heartbroken. You can only experience love as far as your willingness to be heartbroken. So I get that. I think I get that. I think I get that. And it's probably one of the main reasons why I love to teach about authenticity. Because when you're being authentically you, with no motives, with no raw, I'm sorry, with raw intentions, nothing can stop you. No one can question it. They can if they want to, but at the end of the day, you made the decision. You did not have an intention to do ill will to someone else or whatever the case may be. You were just simply being authentically you. And I think in order to do that, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be courageous. Way to go, Brene. I like that. I like that one. All right, everybody. That's it for me. Until the next week, I love you guys as always. Namaste.